everybody. Before we get started, the introduction and the episode is going to roll in just a sec. But I want to apologize for some weird audio quality stuff. My mic has been a little bit in and out, coming and going. Super fun. I should be getting a new mic soon. Finances are weird, but once that's there, this won't be an issue. Sorry. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Amanda N, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about this site called Mortis. So this is an internet myth, none of it's confirmed, and honestly, a lot of other people have already talked about this, but I just wanted to put my 2 cents in on the topic, plus I always love weird internet mysteries. So if you haven't heard of Tom Ling, maybe you've heard of his websites. So back in 1997, a website called Mortis.com was created and later discovered by a 4chan user. All it featured was a black and white login and password screen that was apparently nearly impossible to get into. People were curious about it because who was logging into this site? And they discovered that it was linked to a dentist's office, a lawyer, and a high-end security firm. Usenet files also link back to the website, and Usenet is, in case you aren't aware, a worldwide distributed discussion system on computers. Since these file sizes were massive, people wondered what the site could be hiding. All that they knew was that apparently someone named Thomas Ling owned the website, but this wasn't the only one he owned either. There was also Cthulhu.net, which just had a single page with the words "Dead But Dreaming" on it, white lettering on a black background, with a white chess piece. There was also Karen Ling, Joshua Ling, Lingsbro, Eternal Night, and more than 12 different sites in total. One article claims that it was discovered that the owner, Tom Ling, lived in Sydney, Australia, and was an advanced media originator who possessed sites on a server in Philadelphia. He allegedly had associations with an overnight boarding house, a security organization, and a video sharing gathering, all of which would offer some sort of explanation for these sites, but this wasn't really confirmed. Other articles say that the site was registered to a dentist in San Francisco. Some say he was an attorney or a security expert. He was an anomaly, to say the least. When Thomas Ling himself allegedly did come forward, he said that this was just a site he used for his wedding photos. But as this article itself says, who names their wedding photo site Mortis, the Latin word for death? Though many of these sites are unavailable and Mortis's registration is valid for just another couple of years, it doesn't make sense who owns this and the 12 other websites. Though it's no longer up, the strangest website I've encountered is definitely Mortis.com. I used to browse X, the paranormal board on 4chan, pretty regularly. One night, someone posted asking if anyone had any updates on a website called Mortis. I decided to visit the site and see what the hubbub was, but what I found was seemingly uninteresting. Completely black background with the word Mortis in lowercase, white lettering. Absolutely nothing else. Weird, but not worth investigating, I thought. I tried clicking on the word and a login box came up, and when I checked back to X, people were talking about trying to log in. No one was getting anywhere. A few people did enough research to learn that there were many terabytes of information being stored here. You read that right, terabytes. Hundreds, if I remember correctly. It was something absolutely ridiculous. We all had our theories, most of them disturbing. A lot of people suggested we give up trying to get in for our safety, depending on what it was in there. Most people disagreed and kept trying. Eventually, tired of trying generic username and password combos, someone decided to ask G, the technology board, to hack their way in, instead of trying brute force. People tried for weeks to get in. We learned that the website belonged to one Mr. Ling, who owned multiple other anomalous websites, which were also interesting but irrelevant. We learned more and more about Ling, but never got past the login box. I gave up, but others kept trying. A few months ago, I decided to look around and see what progress had been made. Apparently, the FBI stepped in. I think they actually contacted some of the people involved in trying to crack the login, but I wasn't around the time this happened. Soon after, the website and all others owned by Ling just went down. I would like to know what was in there, but it was fun getting involved with the biggest conspiracy theorists on the interwebs and something so fun. The thing is, Thomas Ling isn't an incredibly uncommon name, so even knowing if Thomas Ling genuinely owned these sites can be difficult. However, Barely Sociable compiled a list of sites in his 2019 YouTube video that had all the sites registered under the same domain registrar, not just name, and it had Cthulhu, Dental Fill-ins, Eternal Night, Exercio, Jeffrey Ling, Joshua Ling, Karen Ling, Linsbro, Mortis, and ThomasLingOdds.com all on it. Barely Sociable hypothesizes that all this could be a case of domain flipping, buying a name, sitting on it for a while, and flipping it, at least in the case of the Cthulhu site, whereas the Ling website could be his name and potentially his children's names. Thomas's kids, that is. However, media players and large files still aren't explained by this, so Barely Sociable theorizes that it's possible this was almost like a family Netflix, where friends and families weren't accessing just wedding photos, but perhaps watching movies together. That could explain why the FBI got involved after all. But why bring this up now, in 2022? Barely Sociable covered this a couple years ago, plenty of people covered it before him too, so there's plenty of information about this site. Why would I talk about it? Well, one, it's just because I love weird, unsolved internet things, but the other is because I've actually been seeing more and more people on more recent Reddit posts wonder if this really even existed in the first place. Now that it's been so long, people say, well, all of this is very vague information. Oh, somebody said this could be it, somebody theorized that it was Mr. Ling, but there's really not too much evidence to back it up. Or at least not as much as we thought there was in the first place. Some claim they're still investigating this, and some claim the FBI was never involved in the first place. It's really interesting to see how theories change over the years, especially with this Mortis one, simply because I vaguely remember this on my internet days. Very, very vaguely. But more importantly, it's like a game of telephone over time, I would say, with conspiracy theorists. Sometimes you're so sure of what the truth is, and then years and years later, as time passes, people begin to wonder if they even had a kernel of truth in the beginning. I find that fascinating. I thought maybe you guys would too. Let me know if there's any other weird internet conspiracies that you remember from years and years ago. I know Cicada 3301 has been covered to death, but there's so many out there. There's so many fascinating little bits and pieces. These kind of conspiracy theories go back so much further than the internet too. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!